So we are in central Louisiana, helping to rebuild the home of Miss Linda and Mr. Jesse. He is a Vietnam vet. They don't live in a flood zone. They weren't expecting this to happen.
We opted for no flood insurance. That was one of the things we opted out of. We've lived in this home for 40 years. We had never flooded.
Over the course of 7 days in August, nearly 7 trillion gallons of rain pummeled southern Louisiana. A sucker punch resulting in the worst United States disaster since Hurricane Sandy.
We stayed in the parking lot of the church for the night. And then the next morning, the water was still coming up. Our neighbor came over the wooden fence in his boat. And he took pictures and then would send it to us so we could see exactly how high it was.
When the Marcus family finally returned home, their property and belongings had been destroyed. They were advised to gut their home because of contamination and health hazards.
We started with wheelbarrows and shovels and started taking everything to the road. Our mountain of belongings were put in a truck and we watched them lift it and dump it in the truck. Things that we've worked all our lives for.
We're setting up an office in Baton Rouge and working with other organizations. So we've been sending volunteers back and forth from Baton Rouge to support the immediate recovery efforts there. You're hired. Woo!
I got a call from Liz one day and everything from then on started falling into place.
All right.
For a full decade, our first CNN Hero of the Year, Liz McCartney, has helped families like the Marcuses move back into their homes.
Shazam, look at that!
Liz started rebuilding homes in 2006 in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, and she hasn't stopped since then. CNN Heroes honored Liz and her organization, the St. Bernard Project, in 2008. Today, her organization is called simply SBP, and they're stronger and larger than ever.
Please join us. Together we can continue to rebuild families' homes and lives. Thank you. We've rebuilt almost 1,200 houses with help from over 130,000 volunteers from every state in the country, from over 70 countries from around the world. It's been like an extraordinary outpouring of support. SBP now works in 7 different disaster-impacted communities across the country: New York, New Jersey, a community in Texas, in Columbia, South Carolina, and parts of West Virginia, and now, most recently, in Baton Rouge.
Today, disaster recovery is Liz's full-time job, and she and her team are keenly focused on prevention and safety as well.
I think we've learned over the years that we have to dig in and try to address the root cause of the problem. And actually, it's one of the things I tell our partners now in Baton Rouge, and it always makes me cry. It's gonna make me cry now. I say, you don't want to be me in 10.5 years, like still helping families get back home. So let's figure out how to do this as efficiently and as smartly and cooperatively as possible. So yeah, it's been a journey.
SBP launched the Disaster Resilience and Recovery Lab to help home and business owners prior to a disaster. And afterwards, they're there for homeowners, charities, and government officials to share best practices and insight. Over the years, SBP has also started mental health support groups, affordable housing projects, and veterans assistance programs.
Yeah, I did.
When CNN Heroes met Liz, the project was a grassroots initiative. Today, her team receives support from major sponsors, and SBP is recognized internationally as a leader in disaster recovery.
The Heroes program helped us help so many more people because it attracted people to the organization and was just a way to let folks know that there's this huge need out there in communities that are impacted by disaster, and there's a way that they can help very meaningfully that will change people's lives.
Today, SBP's new headquarters in the heart of New Orleans is used as a hub for experts to gather.
How's it coming, you guys?
So far, SBP has had more than 130,000 volunteers working on more than 1,000 projects across America.
It's gonna be good.
More than half of these volunteers have been in New Orleans.
I've worked on about a dozen or so homes since moving down here in about an 8-month period. It's easy to kind of assume that, you know, everything has been taken care of, but it's not true. There's a lot of work to be done. it's inspiring, you know, seeing those people who come down here with real energy. Woo! Yeah, I'm pretty sweaty too.
The reality is it's all about having a great team, and we're surrounded by a lot of very dedicated, extremely hardworking people.
The fruits of SBP's efforts and other groups working in New Orleans have paid off. In many ways, the city is thriving. Tourists are back and new businesses are opening. But Liz says there are still displaced residents. More than 10 years after Katrina, people who want to come home but can't.
It's 11 years after Katrina, and many neighborhoods look like this one. You know, they're vibrant, people are back home, life is very much back to normal. I think the biggest problem that we're seeing is that we're still working with families who were impacted by Katrina who are not home yet. The real challenge is that the overwhelming majority of those people are victims of contractor fraud or theft or vandalism, and they've just run out of resources, and they don't have a clear path home.
We were here for Katrina. We had 6.5 feet of water.
Hurricane Katrina struck in August of 2005, leaving New Orleans and its residents reeling.
When I went in there, it looked like somebody had taken a bomb and just blew up everything. It was unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. What you say, baby?
For 10 years, the Hendersons struggled to rebuild until they submitted an application to SBP.
Someone called me and she said, Ms. Henderson, we have your application and we're going to help you out to get back in your home. This is the living room. This is the dining room. When I saw it, I was like, wow, it's beautiful.
I had nothing to do with the colors. I do all the outside work.
Liz McCartney has spent the last decade bearing witness to Katrina's destruction and helping flood survivors find a path home. She was recognized as a champion of change by the White House, and in January of 2013, Liz was one of the citizen co-chairs of President Obama's second inauguration.
I also am always just like, it's not me. We have this great team, right? Like, I don't know. We get a lot of people stepping up and saying, I can do my part, and I will do my part.
For Liz McCartney and co-founder Zach Rosenberg, who continue to run the organization together, their professional journey has been mirrored by a personal one. The co-founders got married in 2010, and today they're raising a family of their own in New Orleans. Liz says neither journey was planned.
When Zach and I started, I think we were like naive enough that we thought, well, we'll just come down for a little while and try to help. And I never would have imagined that we'd still be here doing this work. The thing that's always really inspiring and a little bit scary to me is when people look me in the eye and they say, I'll keep coming until you tell me to stop. And I think, okay, I gotta keep showing up every day then.
Liz and her team are doing tremendous work, and we cannot wait to see where they're going to be in another 10 years. CNN Heroes are nominated by viewers like you. Let us know who you think deserves recognition for making the world a better place. Nominations are now open at cnnheroes.com.